I've got notebooks of information, notebooks of great ideas. But these great ideas had a lifeline this long. You had one opportunity, and if you miss the opportunity, then it's gone. Clean on it, let it go, and wait for the next one, because it's coming. Be open to the next one. Don't look on the past. Everything in your life can be empowered. My bed is empowered. My pens are empowered. My car is empowered. The wheels on my car are all empowered. So when I drive down the road, I'm throwing that out there. I used to have actually the mantra of light, the chant that I did for you a moment ago, that was actually drawn on all of my tires so that it would just spin out into the world. Whatever I can do to bless other people. My whole life at this moment is blessing other people. The way that I teach is go do something for somebody else. It doesn't mean that you won't benefit from it. It means that your motivation is healing other people, awakening other people, empowering other people. I think that's why every single person's in this room right now. I don't think you're here to empower yourself. You're here because you want to empower other people, because you want to keep it spreading. Anything that you work with clients, anything that you work with at home, use these techniques. If you have a question about the techniques, they're very simple, but they're very, very profound. They're simple in idea, but we still have to practice to the point where we can become clear and we can experience and acknowledge that clarity so that we can then put that energy into another tool. You said that you had a crystal you wanted to bring with you, and that you left it in Brazil. And it's funny because all of our crystals are from Brazil. And I told him, become clear. Think about the empowerment of that crystal and sit and clean on it while holding one of these crystals. And at the end, when you become extremely clear with the point of the crystal facing the other crystal, take those giant breaths and blow into that crystal, but blow across the crystal that you're going to receive. This is a great way to share the energy with other people. And at the end of all of our talks, I'm going to do a short ceremony to seal all of the crystals, because it's, their time for being programmed is over with. We've got bags for everybody. You'll take your crystal, put it in there, work with it on a daily basis. Every time you're trying to think about what Dr. Joe said, or what I said, or what Chuck said, or Dr. Steve, you hold this crystal and you think about it. You say, what did they say? And just sit and clean on it. And eventually, boom, you're going to feel it because the vibration's there. It's going to recall that vibration. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to be able to recall all of this information. We don't have access to the video right now because it's being videotaped now. We have something else. We have an energetic link. We have a link that's going to allow us to, even as we talk with our clients, as we start working with them, we can blow that empowerment into each one of them. And what's weird is that even over the phone, these empowerments work. They don't care, because intention. So now we get into quantum physics. The intention that you put out is that it goes through the phone line, but really it's just jumping through time and space and going, okay, it's done. As a Reiki practitioner, one of the best Reiki attunements I ever got was with a Reiki master in England. And I had heard about this guy who was doing these remote empowerments and attunements. I said, well, cool, I got to experience this. I know it should be able to be done. When I read about it and when I think about it, it all makes sense, but I'd never experienced it. It's the whole thing. I give all of these attunements to people, but I receive very few. So now as I teach students, part of the certification when I teach a student is, you've got to come back and give me an empowerment too. And that way I get to receive some. Because first, I like to tweak how I do them. And it's there again. My world has gotten very strange because I thought in sutras and in mantras, and now I just think in clarity. And that's how I hope that all of you will begin to think, is just think in clarity. This beautiful whiteboard. I don't want to do anything at all to mess up this whiteboard. I just want it to stay white, stay clear, stay clean. Questions?
This isn't a question, but it's an experience.
Awesome.
When you stepped on the stage and you opened your mouth, I immediately filled with this beautiful vibration.
Oh, wonderful.
And as you played the gongs, which I love, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And at one point I felt like I was screaming, "I love you."
I truly understand that. It was them screaming.
It was...
They were screaming, you were screaming.
Like there was nothing, there was no,
But-
it was clear, and it was beautiful.
You were singing. You were singing, I love you. You were screaming, you were...
Right.
But it's that absolute, when you get to that point, it's just that absolute, like, there's no word to explain that, but I do understand it. And thank you so much for
I thank
sharing.
you.
And thank you for just being with us.
So how do we combine the concept of karma and hooponopono? That, well, some people at the basic level of perception, karma, they maybe think that karma is something that you have to like pay your debts or something. That
Right.
is like very basic, people who don't aware of the things. And then there is like a second level when you realize that karma is just a law of cause and consequence, and karma is solved by awareness. So it's not obviously you have to suffer to pay your debts, but you just have to learn the lessons. Sometimes you learn the lessons through love and compassion and understanding.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge, exactly. And right now, I'm just, while writing an article for my examination, I realized it's just like awareness. Oh, but karma is just a data. It's just our memories from the past lives. So we just repeat this mantra and we solve it. We don't need anything else. And my question is about practicing with people. So for example, when you have a client who is not perceiving, who is not accepting the concept of karma or concept of past lives, how do we actually act with them? Like if the person is a Christian, for example, so we keep clearing on them, so they just accept our techniques, or what would you suggest?
Well, you just keep clearing on your experience of what they are or are not accepting. Mm-hmm. The thing is, when somebody comes to you and says, you have to do it this way, you have to, whether I'm Buddhist or Hindu or Christian, you have to come, the only way to alleviate your suffering is to be a part of my religion, or you play a musical instrument, and the only way that you can become proficient at it is to play exactly as I play and exactly as I instruct you. Well, what's the first thing that happens? You put a barrier up. You put that barrier up and you go, whoa, no. You know what? I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna move over here and I'm gonna do something completely different because I don't like your attitude towards it. So first, we're never gonna force somebody, and we don't want to force somebody to believe in karma. One of the beautiful things, having been raised atheist, one of the beautiful things about Buddhism initially for me was just the aspect of nobody's coming and proselytizing to me. Nobody's asking me to believe any different than I believe. My first trip to Thailand, at the monastery, my roommate was a Catholic priest. And so we used to sit up all night and drink tea and just talk about the aspects of all the different religions. And that really, it's not about what you practice or what you don't practice, what religion you are or are not. It is about you finding something you are comfortable with and something that you can practice. What I love about hooponopono is that it doesn't matter whether you're atheist, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Native American. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is that you clean. You just clean and become clear. And there's absolutely nothing in those 4 phrases, now 5 phrases. There's nothing in these phrases that has anything to do with anything but becoming clear. That's it. It's brilliant. There is nobody walking the earth that cannot benefit from it. And whether they do or don't practice, if we become a part of their experience, or if they become part of our experience, then they still get to receive the love that we have because we clean. Don't worry about them. We only worry about ourselves. And if they, like we did, if they experience it and they come and go, give me more, then we share more. And we show them where to find the tools. We teach them. We practice with them. This is the important thing. This is how we move out into the world. We each have our practices, whether it be through music or science, mathematics, healing. It's all good. You just keep cleaning. Even the cleaning lady at the hotel, when they learn this, as they move through the day, they've got a pretty bizarre job, actually. You think about what people leave behind in hotel rooms and what they have to see every time they go into a hotel room. Well, they just keep cleaning. I have one hotel in Houston, and I became friends with the cleaning staff there through a very strange set of circumstances. I said, well, when you're cleaning, you should just clean yourself. And they said, you mean like pray? Well, no. And so we talked about the 4 phrases and said, it's very simple. You're just working on yourself. You're just keeping yourself clean and clear as you move in and out of all of their stuff. So I say the same thing to you. Just keep cleaning. Don't worry about their aspect of whether they're going to accept it or not. There's a point where they become clear enough that they come to you and say, now what was this again? I've done it with many techniques. People teach me this technique and I go, okay. And then a year later, I think I learned this. And I have to call them back and say, can you explain this to me one more time? But because it's already been embedded into me, I was able to receive it very quickly. It's the same thing. If you share with them what you're doing, if you share with them what the technique is, and that's what you're doing, you don't say, oh, you need to do this. You say, this is how I clean. And this is why you enjoy it so much when you and I are together, because I'm clear. When you go into a chaotic place, you go, oh, I don't particularly love this place. You start cleaning on it. But when you walk into, say, a beautiful church, when I walked into this building yesterday, I was like, yeah, what do we need to clean? This room was just so beautiful already. And so many people had been cleaning on their experience of coming here. That's how you bring people into your world. Never go to them and say, you need to clear, you need to clean, you need to work on this, you need to work on this. Because once we do that, we've taken ourselves away from our practice. We now need to go back and clean on the fact that we just told somebody they needed to clean.
Not the questions as much as I want to share the experience. First of all, thank you. That was pretty powerful.
Thank you.
I must say, I haven't experienced that in quite a while. A couple of visuals came to me, just thought form almost dropped. The first one, I was standing in front of a giant whiteboard, and with the wave of the gong, I could see all the data just crumbling off the whiteboard. Right. And I had this, every time the wave came, I kept more stuff crumbling and crumbling and crumbling. Even after there was no data, I still felt there was an invisible layer that was still crumbling off the whiteboard. Okay, number 2. And then shortly after that, apparently when the board was clear, I all of a sudden saw the entire space here being a torrential rain, which was not rain. Each drop was 2 drops. And, you know, Dr. Lane refers as dewdrop. He said he received the information that it was the grace of God.
Right.
So, I mean, I was very moved by that. I mean, not only the power, but the visual became so meaningful to me. So thank you, because that was
Oh, no,
something else.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing.
So Eric?
Yes.
To stay on schedule, we need to wrap it up in about 5 minutes, so.
Okay, so I'm going to take 2 more questions here, I think.
Okay. I'm writing a book about meditation. As a monk, you probably meditate a lot. Could you share your experience with us and with people that don't meditate already?
Wow, that's a long answer.
As short as you can.
So, first, I'm going to go back to a shirt that I saw Dr. Joe with many years ago. Meditation, it's not what you think. You know, this was the first time I saw that. I'm like, cool, he really does get it. The world of meditation, I mean, it can go on for years and years and years as to each person's explanation of it. If I had to give you a very simple answer, when we sit down and we chant, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, we're in meditation.
Yes.
Believe it or not, we're in meditation.
I do believe it.
Because we're doing what? We're being with ourselves here and now in the present moment, absolutely aware. When you start chanting those 4 phrases, you're not doing it mindlessly. You're never, even though you think at first you're doing it mindlessly, but then all these thoughts start coming in, and those thoughts bring you back, and you start cleaning on those thoughts. And then when you become perfectly clear, you're absolutely focused on not being focused, right here, right now, in the present moment. Just you and your breath and your clarity. That's meditation. I mean, it can go on for years. You can go on with this technique and that technique, but the techniques are not the meditation. The result is the meditation. So,
Thank you.